Imagine you are scrolling through your phone in 2020, you are bored, and suddenly you see her. It is just a girl sitting on her couch, bobbing her head to a British grime track called M to the B. It looks simple, right? But that 10-second clip didn't just go viral. It became the most liked video in the history of TikTok. It was a movement that changed the internet forever. Every single pixel of that recording seemed to be engineered for maximum engagement, drawing in millions of eyes within the first few hours of its release. The song was catchy, but it was her perfectly timed movements that mesmerized the globe. You could not escape it. The who is she? Frenzy was instantaneous. Was she a real person, an AI, or just someone who got incredibly lucky? Was she an icon or an industry plant? It makes you wonder. Is it actually possible to manufacture a pop star directly from an algorithm, or is Bella Poarch just a once-in-a-generation fluke that no one saw coming? One day, she is a random face on a screen, and the next, she is a household name with more influence than actual Hollywood A-listers. But here's where things get really juicy. When Bella first exploded, she was a total enigma. She appeared out of thin air, and the internet went into full detective mode. The theories were endless, ranging from plausible to absolutely insane. The mystery surrounding her previous life was so deep that some internet detectives spent weeks scouring through old yearbooks and public records just to find a single hint of her true digital identity. Some thought she was part of a secret government experiment, while others were convinced she was an industry plant carefully designed by a marketing team. The lack of information only fueled the fire. Who was this girl with the pigtails and that captivating stare? Then the real story started to leak out, and it was even more shocking. This was not some pampered influencer. Bella Poarch was actually a veteran of the US Navy. Can you even wrap your head around that contrast? One moment, she is in a high-pressure military environment, dealing with intense discipline. Transitioning from military life to internet fame is no easy task, especially when you have to balance the expectations of millions of followers. The next, she is the queen of the kawaii aesthetic online. That juxtaposition is absolutely wild. It is that contrast between her cute persona and her gritty military past that made people realize there was much more to her than just a rhythmic head tilt. Of course, the critics were ready to pounce. As soon as the M to the B hype reached its peak, the one-hit wonder label started flying. People said she would be forgotten in a week, just another flavor of the month who would fade once the next trend arrived. But they underestimated her. Bella was a master of visual branding. She pioneered that face zoom technique that everyone tried to copy, using gaming-inspired visuals and a specific look that captured the imagination of millions. She wasn't just posting, she was building a brand. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from, because what happened next was a total game changer. She did not just stay on her couch. In record time, she transitioned from a random girl on a couch to a global music sensation, signing a massive deal with Warner Records. It was a pivot that left traditional executives shaking, but even with a major label behind her, the pressure was mounting. Everyone was asking the same question: can she actually sing, or is this all just studio magic? The world was waiting for her to fail. And the suspense was building as she stepped into the studio to prove she was a real artist, not just a viral moment. The world was holding its breath, waiting to see if she would crash and burn like so many other viral stars. But then she dropped the Build-A-Betch bombshell and the internet basically imploded. It was not just a catchy tune you could hum along to, it was a massive, high-budget visual statement against the impossible beauty standards of the modern age. Can you believe she went from head-bobbing on a couch to starring in a music video that looked like a summer blockbuster? The message was loud and clear. She was not here to be anyone's perfect little doll. It was a calculated move that felt incredibly fresh. The video featured an assembly line of girls being manufactured, and seeing Bella lead the revolution was exactly what her audience needed to see. It was dark, it was edgy, and it proved that she actually had a creative vision for her career that went way beyond a simple 10-second loop. But with that massive success came even more heat from the skeptics who were ready to tear her down at any moment. Behind the scenes, a literal bidding war was happening for her signature. Every major label in the industry wanted a piece of the Poarch empire, but Warner Records was the one that ultimately took the massive gamble on her. You have to understand how risky this was for everyone involved back then. At that time, so many TikTokers had tried to launch music careers and failed miserably, often becoming the laughingstock of the music world. People were whispering that Warner was just buying a follower count instead of actual talent. This fueled those juicy industry plant accusations that started spreading like wildfire across Reddit and Twitter threads. Critics were convinced her whole story was staged by a massive marketing machine designed to trick us all. They claimed she was just a manufactured product designed by executives to dominate the algorithm. But was she really just a puppet for the big suits? Or was she a girl who knew exactly how to play the game better than anyone else? To solidify her place in the industry, Bella did something absolutely brilliant. She brought her digital world into her music. She did not just hire random actors for her videos, she brought in internet royalty. Having massive stars like Valkyrie and Mia Khalifa appear in her visuals was a total power move. It was not just about the music anymore, it was about the culture she represented. These collaborations helped her bridge that awkward gap between being a social media influencer and being a legitimate artist. It showed that she had the respect of her peers across different platforms. Even the producer Suburban became a central figure in her journey, helping her craft that specific dark pop sound that became her signature. Their professional creative partnership is the stuff of legends now, but back then, people wondered how much control she actually had in the studio. Rumors were everywhere that the producers were doing all the heavy lifting while she just provided the famous face. However, as Bella began to share more of herself, the public perception started to shift from influencer to human. She began opening up about her mental health and her incredibly difficult childhood, revealing that music was her therapy. It was a shift that made people realize there was a real person behind the pigtails. She talked about the trauma she faced and how singing was the only thing that kept her sane during her darkest moments. This made her relatable in a way that most pop stars never are, but fame has a dark side too. Remember the absolute chaos surrounding her rising sun tattoo? That was a massive controversy that revealed the intense pressures of global fame. She faced huge backlash, especially from fans in South Korea, and had to navigate a cultural minefield while the whole world watched for her next mistake. It was a stark reminder that every single detail of her life was now under a microscope. Despite the drama, her musical growth was undeniable as she moved away from simple TikTok sounds to more complex production. When she released her EP titled Dolls, it was clear she was evolving into something much more theatrical and permanent. The production was heavier and the themes were much darker. Critics who called her a one-hit wonder were starting to look a bit silly. She was proving that she could sustain a sound that was uniquely hers, even if the rumors about her studio control continued to swirl. And as she started making moves into the world of high fashion and major public events, the spotlight only got brighter and hotter with every new post. The transition was working, but at what cost to her personal life and her mysterious past? The transition into the high fashion world and the intense, flickering spotlight of global stardom wasn't just about glossy magazine covers and front row seats at Fashion Week. As Bella Poarch's empire expanded, so did the great digital divide in the court of public opinion. On one side, you have the Bella heads, a massive, fiercely loyal army of fans who will defend her every move and stream every track until their phones overheat. On the other side, you have the vocal critics and industry purists who are still convinced she's taking up space that belongs to real musicians who paid their dues in smoky dive bars instead of on smartphone screens. It's wild to see how polarizing one person can be, right? If you check out any viral tweet or TikTok comment section regarding her live performances, the debate is absolutely legendary. People are constantly dissecting every note she hits, asking the million-dollar question: is she actually singing with talent, or is it all just studio magic, heavy auto-tune, and clever mixing by her producers? While the critics were busy arguing about her vocal range, Bella was busy proving that she could play the long game better than anyone ever expected. But then, the internet was hit with a bombshell that no one, literally no one, saw coming. Out of nowhere, news broke that Bella had been privately married for years. Can you imagine being one of the most watched, most followed people on the planet and managing to keep a husband completely secret from the entire world for that long? It was a total hold my drink moment for internet sleuths. The news of her divorce from Tyler Poarch revealed a side of her life that was completely shielded from the algorithm. It made everyone realize that while we were watching her head bob to catchy beats and cute sounds, she was navigating a complex, high-stakes personal life entirely off camera. This revelation added a new, deep layer of mystery to her persona, making her feel less like a manufactured product and more like a tactical genius who knows exactly how much of herself to give away and what to keep hidden in the shadows. And while the gossip blogs were spinning out of control with theories, Bella was busy dominating the fashion world. Have you seen her in Rihanna's Savage X Fenty shows? She didn't just walk the runway, she commanded the entire room with a level of confidence that seemed to say she belonged there all along. This transition into high fashion and major brand partnerships solidified her status as something much bigger than just a singer or a TikToker. She was becoming a legitimate cultural icon, a mogul who could move between music, fashion, gaming, and social media with total ease. It's clear she's building a career that isn't dependent on a single viral hit or a passing trend. She's following a blueprint that she basically invented herself, paving the way for a whole new generation of creators to be taken seriously by the old guard of Hollywood. Now, all eyes are on the future of the Porch Empire. Speculation about her long-awaited full-length debut album is reaching a fever pitch in the Bellahead community. Rumors are flying fast that she might pivot to a completely new genre or perhaps double down on the dark pop edgy sound she developed with Suburban. Will she finally silence the skeptics with a critical masterpiece? Or will the album be more of the same? The entire music industry is watching her every move because she has effectively changed the rules of the game forever. She created the TikTok to pop star blueprint that so many others are now desperately trying to follow. But is the window of opportunity closing for everyone else? Is Bella a once-in-a-generation fluke who caught lightning in a bottle? Or is she truly the new face of what a pop star looks like in the digital age? As we look at the massive Porch Empire today, we have to ask ourselves, can she sustain this level of fame for another decade? Some say she's the peak of the influencer era, a symbol of a time when popularity was measured in likes rather than legacy. But others see her as a pioneer who forced the traditional music industry to finally play by the rules of the internet. Whether you love her or hate her, you have to respect the hustle. She took a 10-second clip and turned it into a global career that has redefined fame for an entire generation. So what do you think? Is Bella Porch a permanent pop icon in the making, or just the most successful viral moment in human history? One thing is for sure, the world will be watching every single frame she posts, and you'd better believe she's ready